This is my video about how I design wedding albums using, I use software called Smart Albums from Pixeloo, and they also do like a cloud proofing as well, which I'll show at the end of the video. But the way I work it is I actually do a wedding album for every wedding I shoot. And it kind of helps dictate how I actually shoot a wedding as well. I'm always keeping in mind that it's to put together one of these books. So over the years, I've done this 13 years, and over the years I've actually changed the way I've done albums quite a bit too. Knowing I'm doing an album or an album design at least for every wedding. I used to do these albums a lot like I think a lot of other people do, where you have the client pick the pictures and then you kind of fill in the gaps a little bit. And you do these albums that are, I would say when I first started, I was doing a lot of these albums almost like they're show albums, where I would do an album and put it together very artsy. And I didn't really have the client in mind when I made albums earlier in my career. So now I've kind of gone on to think, when I design these albums for a client, they're very client based. I know all the people that I shoot for are a little bit different. This particular wedding I'm going to edit now was actually there's a lot more behind some of the details in this wedding, so I'll include more detail shots than I might in another album. But mainly now I make the images of the family, images of them, kind of the star of the album, more so than a design. I keep the design very simple. I use white backgrounds. I look back at some of my earlier designs where I used a lot of different background types, a lot of different pictures in the background designs. The pages all didn't kind of fit together. I thought that when I used a lot of those things, the albums aged badly. They didn't look as good 5 years later as I thought they did when I was designing them at the time. But I think this clean approach, just plain background, making the stars and the people the star of the album, seems to work better for me. I've been getting good feedback, and looking back on some of these clean albums, they always look great. I mean, they look like they did when I designed them. They aged well. So just to get started, I usually start off an album kind of featuring rings and a few detail shots of the dress. I know a lot of people like starting their albums off with like a wow shot of the bride and groom, but I kind of go linear, like all in a line through a wedding, and try to keep it pretty simple. I like to show as the day unfolds, and the way I shoot, I'm there all day, so that makes it pretty easy. This software kind of sets up the page for me, and I'll do something like that, and then I move on, because I do a lot of these. I do a lot of weddings. The albums should not have to take a full day. They should be pretty straightforward and easy to get going. I love doing the getting ready process in a black and white. I just think black and white looks awesome for getting ready. So I have these all set up. Always the star of the show gets the biggest photo in there. And I actually like this photo the best. I'm gonna go with that. It's a little dark, but I like high contrast. I think that's moody. I like that. So I'll move on. I got some fun shots of the girls before the weddings. So these four will do great. Do that, and I just want to keep those like that. Perfect. So yeah, I mean, as you can see, you can get a lot of great shots and page layouts very quick with this program, which is what allows me to actually do all these designs. I do full page layouts, so I might need to shift a little bit, make sure the page break doesn't come through someone's face. So mostly what you're doing in the albums, or what I do on the albums, is I'm trying to bring back the memory of that particular day. So when they look through these albums, they should be looking through, and these pictures should be bringing back the memories, hopefully. So that's if I did my job right. So when I do some of these, so this is a pretty busy page, but what there are Disney people. So what they did on this one is all these are maps of Disneyland with the different areas of Disneyland, and that's how they made up their tables. And I will also grab, so like I say, I'm doing a little bit of more detailed pages here than I might otherwise have done on a different wedding. But they had, I'm going to add these in there. Wow, too many images. Okay, so I'm going to have to weed through here and delete a couple because I want that image in there. There we go. So on their for when they hung up their place settings, they had Disney fast passes that matched the ride or the area of Disneyland. So I thought they put a lot of effort into this, and she was very excited about this. So definitely have to dedicate a page to all their work there. So yeah, they did the first look, which for me is not terribly common. I don't actually try and sway a bride or groom one way or another on the first look. I think if they do it, then great, and if they don't want to do it, I can operate in that scenario as well. So I think it's important to just honor they want to do it, and not what makes life easier for me necessarily. So that's kind of what I do. So I'll pick these pictures up from the getting ready, and I want to feature a couple of them. I don't want that. So it might, on some of these, it might take you a little longer to scroll through to find the setting you like best. I like that. So we're going to do that. I don't want it on that side. So basically when I flip through, I'm looking for layout that will work for me here. So there we go. I like that. So I'm going to go here. I got all of the groomsmen to make most of the groomsmen participated, making a face like they're getting stabbed when they're doing the when they're doing the pinning of the boutonnieres. So I just like to get a few of those in there. Just do a page. I like weddings. I think they should be fun, so I always go for the fun images. When I import the images I'm going to use in here, I always kind of do a mix. Make sure I get enough that I don't have to go back and search for images, but I want to make sure they all work. I kind of crop the way I want to on some of my images, and so I don't adhere to sticking to a normal cropping situation. So I will just bring that back in there just a little bit, maybe just a little more, get it off her face. There we go. That's good. And then take this image, and I think I can kind of scale in just a bit and move that page break off her face. So yeah, so this image I wanted extra long. I don't adhere to just keeping the same aspect ratio for every, I crop the way I want. So this image will be a little skinnier, but I kind of like that. I like that long letterboxed image look. Giving your bride an album design like this and getting it to her without her having to do all the work of picking the pictures, I find is working pretty good on both her end and my end. I like the ability to just be able to work freely like this and not have the constriction of someone who doesn't design albums a lot trying to pick the albums that would look good in an album. And I could tell you, since I've been doing this, the actual number of changes people want to these pages is minimal. And this program, I just open this up, making those changes on this pages takes me minutes. So the whole time is very important to me, and so being able to do this very quickly and without a lot of problems it makes my life easy, allows me to do this for brides, and just works. Past the bridegroom shots, I'm on to the to this I call the Disney page. I've actually set up, I don't do this level of kind of goofy Photoshop fun for every bride and groom, but for this one it made sense. I actually photoshopped them into a bunch of different scenes at Disneyland. This couple is a Disney fanatic. You saw that from the from all the detail shots. So anyway, I just like to have fun. I do goofy images. I get them the standard images, and I do the goofy images, and then I do a few of the wow images, and that's kind of how I cover the bride and groom. But weddings are fun, and having fun images of them having fun at their wedding, I think, are important. Where am I at? I'm on page 80, so I'm running out of real estate fast. Which always happens. No matter how many pages I got, I can always do more. I like to do at least one nice full page spread there. For some reason, I just like changing the background at that point to black. Maybe some people don't like it. To me, it just kind of dictates a shift in the time, and it kind of shows off. I like to do the nighttime. It kind of shows off the night sky better, and kind of shows that it turned to night in my brain for some reason. So it gives it a little different feel at the end when we're actually in the reception. So I will do that real quick, and that's only for like the last 5 or 6 pages. So anyway, now that we have the album done, I'm happy with what's there. I've been doing this for approximately almost an hour. It almost took me an hour. So what we'll do is go in here, I'll save it, and I'll go into cloud proofing, export, and ignore all the stuff, and then export. And what that's going to do, that's going to create a website where the clients can go on and they can comment on each individual picture. They can comment on the page, on the background, whatever they want to change. For this one, Lindsay Strauss. And I'm gonna go over here to my email and get Lindsay's email real quick. There we go. It's very easy. Copy that. So that will send an email to her to invite her to look at the actual album. And then I go here, I have an album design email pre-done that will tell them all the different choices, because this software allows me to change this design to, as long as it's the same aspect ratio to different sizes. So right here it has their different options, an 8x8, a 10x10, a 12x12, and different costs, along with some additional information if they want to upgrade the album cover, that kind of stuff. But that will allow them to do that and tell them thank you, give them my number in case they want to call me. So I go here, and now all we do is wait for the upload. Alright, so it's finished uploading. All you do is push publish and send email, and it'll publish it, and it'll pop up what the client will see here. And then so I'll show you guys real quick, just so you're able to see what this thing will look like on a website. So let's see, we'll go to my desktop, bring this over, and we'll bring this full screen so you can kind of see. Shoot, there we go. So anyway, you're gonna see when they click over here, they can just click and it shows them what the page is gonna look like. Kind of cool. All the work we've just done. They can go through and make any comments they want on any of the pages, any of the images, any of the backgrounds. They can see the whole thing, and usually works pretty good. So anyway, that gives you an idea of what I do.